So that brings me to Convocation 2024, and I know at this point you're wondering, where's the theme? I came to be entertained. Well, you know that coming up with a theme isn't easy. I don't know if you just think I fall out of bed wearing a game show host costume or lederhosen or something. I don't. It takes time to come up with this stuff, and frankly, over this summer, I've spent a lot of time on the anxious generation, so I've been a little bit pressed. We've had a lot of book club meetings and everything, and it got to be late in the summer, to be honest with you, and I didn't really have anything. So I had to really focus. I, started to enter a meditative trance in my office around what do we do Convocation 2024. And you think about what's big this summer, right? Like what's been pop culture, what's really been on everybody's mind. And so you think the movies, right? Like what's the big summer blockbuster, and you think about what could we do around summer. So all right, maybe Wolverine. Like I grow out a beard, maybe I could be Wolverine. That would be kind of neat to be a superhero. We've never done that before. Then of course, the Summer Olympics were huge. And like, when I thought about Marlene dressed as an Australian ray gun, kangarooing across that stage, like I couldn't contain myself. That would have been absolutely spectacular. We may have to do that maybe just at Christmas break for the hell of it. Like it's just too good. It felt like comic gold. Obviously the Olympics were a big deal. And so, but as the more I thought about it, that seemed like a bit of a stretch, to be honest with you. So, as I thought about these things, none of them really tied into what we do. And so I thought, how do we add something special, right, that connects to what we do in the Cheshire Public Schools? We need to spice up this recipe. We need to zhuzh it up.
As we go back to school, I'm looking for some items for my lunchbox. On today's edition of Guy's Grocery Games, we've got some celebrity chefs here to kick off our back to school spectacular. Welcome all of our celebrity chefs. Co-hosting with me today is a special guest, Giada De Laurentiis, everybody. So for today's back to school special, you will each have 20 minutes to shop. In those 20 minutes, you have to be ready to prepare a entree, a side, and a dessert. Those things you will have 30 minutes to cook. Because we like to jazz it up and, shall we say, zhuzh it up, we have Giada with a special game for you.
All right, so while this is not building thinking classrooms, there is a spin on the game today. And so you are going to pick a card for your team, and then your team will have to use how many products from the
One product. One product from that aisle. Each of you have to prepare one of 3 special back-to-school entrees. You'll have 20 minutes to cook. We were going to have 3 teams, but we decided to go with teams of 2, so we could do one show with that, so that you can go at that point.
Salsa? Yeah, yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
Nice little orange for some healthy things.
And I think we're ready to go, all right? Let's go for it.
Let's go.
Guy! Can I get your autograph?
How about the
Yeah, perfect. That's,
sounds good?
yeah, that sounds perfect.
Delish.
Delish.
I prefer. Well, we could use this.
I should get the points.
Okay. Okay.
Shush it up.
Bluetooth! Bluetooth! Two? Two Bluetooth! No Bluetooth!
I'm here with the owner-operator of the Wallingford ShopRite, home of the original Flavor Town, Mr. Don Druss. This would not be possible without you. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. Of course, our guys' grocery games, we only get the best judges in the world, and we have a special slate for you for our back to school special. For our first celebrity judge, please welcome a gentleman who was prep cook making Zeppelis at the 1973 San Gennaro Festival in Little Italy, and he eats school lunch on a semi-regular basis. Our Chief Operating Officer, Vin Massian. Our next celebrity judge comes from a long line of family restaurateurs. She's run a very successful restaurant in West Haven. A lot of history as a district food service director, including right here in the Cheshire Public Schools. Please welcome our food service director, Ms. Erica Biagetti. Last but certainly not least, we're proud to welcome another person with a deep resume as a restaurateur. This gentleman always strives for his staff at his restaurant to do their best. Make it right, do it right, put in your effort, and I know he'll send the same message to you today. He's been very successful as one of the top restaurants in the entire state of Connecticut. Please welcome Byron Rondo. You are required to cook one of 3 dishes: a panini, brunch for lunch, or the old pasta and sauce. Each plate must contain an entree, a dessert, and a side dish. Don't forget to zhuzh it up.
3, 2, 1, go! Bam! Bam!
talk right now. I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to win.
In the bowl. In the bowl. In the bowl.
Oh,
In the bowl.
yes, that's great.
All right, chefs, we've got 10 minutes remaining. 10 minutes remaining. Think about your plating and zhuzh it up. How did you do with the budget?
You know, we have expensive tea, so it's a little issue, but it's all right.
Of course, Kat.
We got it all set.
Of course, good luck.
Right.
In the bowl. Bowl. In the bowl. Hey, Swedish chef, we only have so much of a cleaning budget around here. In the bowl. Chefs, it's almost time to wrap up. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, stop cooking. This is our first team from Cheshire High School, Emerald Lagasse and Carla Hall.
We have first a Spanish tortilla,
And a spicy salad for our side.
and to go along with
Our ice cream, our chocolate chip dough sundae delight, and fries.
some fries to accompany your Spanish tortilla.
And the taste of the tomato and mozzarella with a little extra virgin olive oil, wonderful.
My only thing here, I'll go a little less, and I love pepper. I'll go a little lighter on the pepper, that's it. Otherwise, this is great.
From Highland School, we have Jeffrey Zakarian and Rachel Ray.
We have the rigatoni, cooked al dente.
Our salad is delish. It's a baby arugula with candied walnuts, onion, and onion pear sliced very
Dessert, we have a Rice Krispie treat.
And I love the cut on the pears. Very nice julienne.
I agree.
This is a perfect al dente. Congratulations.
Thank
Nail this one.
Chefs, we now have our team from Chapman and Darcy. I would like to introduce you to Chef Boyardee and Anne Burrell.
Chef Boyardee, they taste the way I remember them.
Good job.
The dessert here is my favorite part.
So this is our team from Norton School. This is Antonia Lafavo and Pat Cora.
So today we prepared a tagliatelle with a fresh pomodoro. We have an arugula salad with some lemon juice. And then we have a blueberry shortcake with a fresh whipped cream and a little basil garnish.
I love the freshness. It feels very summer,
Yeah.
very light, crisp, great ingredients.
This is very simple and very well done.
Our next team is from Dodd Middle School, and we have Martha Stewart and the Swedish chef.
The Swedish meatball, lettuce, cookie. Wow.
As you can see, I had a bit of a barrier with the language.
What's the difference between a Swedish meatball and an Italian meatball? Does anybody know?
The Swedish chef.
Pasta is cooked to perfection, which I respect very much.
From Doolittle School, or representing Doolittle School, is Ina Garden and Tiffany Bizon.
Choice of a fruit cup. So we zhuzhed it up a little bit by putting some fresh orange in there and some of a fruit mix and some whipped cream. You have a pudding cup with also a little whipped cream, chocolate pudding.
For your entree, we have a chicken breast, cheddar cheese, roasted red pepper panini with a little bit of basil on top.
I do. I like the flavor. The fresh basil adds a lot to it. And roasted red peppers are always a favorite.
Well balanced, in my opinion. I'll toast, I'll make it a little more crunchy. Kids love crunchy.
All right, before we get to the final decision from today's special back-to-school edition of Guy's Grocery Games. There's some folks we need to thank. First, Giada, thanks for joining us on the show today.
It was a pleasure to be here, guys.
Hey, Giada.
And of course, we have our special guest judges. Mr. Massiana, I know you made Zeppelis 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. I don't know what it was. I don't know how you got on the show, but thank you for being here today.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was really great.
Anyway, moving
Appreciate
on. Ms. Biagetti, food service director for the district. Amazing experience in the restaurant industry. Thanks for doing what you do every day and for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And of course, our celebrity guest judge, Byron Rondo from Byron's. If you have not been there yet, you must live under a rock. You got to try it right down the street. Great stuff. I'm sure they'll be on my other show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, any day now. Thank you, Byron.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Well, congratulations to all of our chefs, and thank you. It was an honor to come to Cheshire and help you film my incredible show, obviously. If I could please ask our celebrity chefs to come down front and please give them a warm welcome. From Doolittle School, Emily Worth and Amy O'Brien. From Cheshire High School, Arturo Bronco and Kim Tabor. Up. From Dodd Middle School, Kristen Shanley and John Runty. From Highland School, Jen Otis and Scott Jeffrey. From Norton School, Kristen Rayball and Carol Adore. From Chapman, Jen Istis, and from Darcy, James Helinski. So this is really the moment that has caused them many sleepless nights from filming till today. The pressure, I know particularly the Swedish chef, it's been tough, wondering did I win, did I not win? Before I will do a little bit of drama here and thank Byron Rondo for his participation. He was really a great sport about it. And as a result, we have gift cards for all of our participants to Byron's. Thank you so much. However, there are two special gift cards for our winners. So without further ado, I want to congratulate from Norton School, Kat Cora and Antonio LaFosse. So you may have noticed that they won, if you could model Kat or Antonia, these incredible Cheshire Public Schools aprons that say, "Zhuzh it up." Very cool. And now this is the Oprah portion of the show, because you get an apron and you get an apron. Everybody gets an apron. Please check in on the way out for your apron. And to all of our other contestants, thank you so much. Congratulations. In case you have any question at all about how desperately competitive we are in the Cheshire Public Schools, almost sadly so. I won't name any names, but let's just say Antonio LaFasa asked me what the score was. Pete's sakes. It's whatever Byron says it was. The score is. So thank you again and congratulations, guys. I was sitting back there, because that's probably the longest I've ever had to change in a convocation. So I had plenty of time with my thoughts, thinking to myself, I wonder how many other superintendents are delivering remarks in a fake goatee and a Welcome to Flavortown t-shirt today. I think it's a small number, but they're lost. Anyway, so we've maintained the same focus on social emotional learning and complex thinking over the past 9 years. Of course, as we continue to grow and evolve, the demands in those areas continue to evolve, and so we change. And so more recently, as it relates to social emotional learning, as a school system, we've brought in the PASS, the Pupil Attitude About Self in School survey. And I mentioned already this summer we spent a lot of time on the anxious generation, so I just wanted to delve into those two with a little bit more detail. So the Pupil Attitude About Self in School survey is really incredibly rich. It provides us a lot of information both individually and organizationally. So you can see on the screen that it measures 9 different areas about how our students are feeling. So like I said, the collective data and the information that it provides organizationally to be able to make change is powerful, but also, as I said, on the individual level. So beyond giving us a broader understanding of how students feel and how we can best support them, like this summer we focused on, this past year we focused on our chronic absenteeism rate. Our chronic absenteeism rate is really high, and it was anyway, and it impacts kids on an academic and a social emotional level when you're not here. The relationships that you have with our kids are so powerful, we need to make sure that they're coming through the door every day. And so we used the past data to start to take a look at what can we do. Are there themes here? What can we do to better connect these kids? So immediately, within the first year of administration, we were identifying ways that we hadn't even really thought about to improve the experience for our students. And then of course, this has been a goal of ours for 9 years, the social emotional learning piece, and we haven't really, to this point, found a way that really felt valid and reliable to measure how we're doing. And PASS gives us that opportunity. So I know it takes a little bit of time out of your day twice a year, but I want you to get a better sense of how that is so valuable to us and our students. It's really powerful information. And for you as a teacher to be able to see your class and see where kids are. We aspire to support our kids to be complex thinkers and strong social emotional learners. And this is one of those ways that we can realize how are we doing, what can we do to tailor. We have so much achievement data, we have so much complex thinking information. I'm excited that we've been able to expand what we do here. The other piece that I mentioned was the anxious generation, and I want to thank so many of you who signed up to read the book. We had really, I was surprised, honestly, by the number of folks who signed up. We had 250 staff and parents sign up to read this book, and it's amazing how repetitive the conversation is when I talk to people who read the book. They'll say to me, it totally changed the way I see heads nodding. It totally changed the way I see the world. And I've been in education for about 30 years. Never have I seen a book that impacts so many people this way. Because you read the book and you expect the first couple chapters, it's about phones, right? And the first couple of chapters are indeed about not necessarily phones, but the peril of social media. The causal data for significant mental health issues, particularly in young women. And this is a huge, huge issue for us. I mean, the age at which kids are getting access to social media is seemingly younger every day. And it's a massive social problem that we face. But you kind of knew that, right? Like, I think most people had a hunch. The first few chapters of the book do a tremendous job of making it unequivocally clear that social media creates terrible, terrible mental health issues in our kids. But the back half of the book was where the surprise came in for most people, and I think a lot of educators like to talk about it. It's how have we socially kind of restructured our expectations around kids? And I think all of us remember as kids, or many of us remember as kids, I'm probably dating myself when I say all of us, but I think those of us north of 45 in the room probably remember riding the bike down the street to the playground with your friends, or doing these things that today are pretty limited. We're incredibly structured, we're very safe. And one of the things that Jonathan Haidt, the author, points out is a theme is that our society has become dramatically oversafe in the real world and dramatically undersafe in the virtual world. We should do so much more to protect our kids in the virtual world than we do. But it's almost to the same degree in the real world that we overprotect our kids and limit their ability to explore, try new things, learn, and grow. Social media is rewiring the adolescent brain. I mean, I guess for somebody my age, the closest comparison I could think is when I was a little kid, my family's from Ireland, so, you know, TV dinner was actually decent cooking when I was growing up. And you'd put it in the oven, and it'd be like 35 minutes. And it would feel like a long time. And then we got a microwave, and it was like, holy smokes, this is insane. And then I found myself 10 years after the microwave going, like putting something in the microwave that maybe took 7 minutes, going, oh my God, this takes forever. You know, and so our world has shifted. And for our kids, we're establishing new norms that are deeply unhealthy. And the ability to pay attention, focus, sleep, what it means to engage socially, what it means to engage interpersonally. It couldn't be more significant. A couple of the other points is this obvious shift from a play-based childhood to a phone-based childhood. You know, and I read the book, and my oldest son is 19, my youngest is 15, and I think to myself, oh man, I missed the mark. You know, I shouldn't have given my kids the phone to be engaged when they were, you know, maybe a little squirrely at the restaurant or whatever, or we're going on a road trip, so it's time for digital sedation for the next 6 hours. And you think about that and like, oh, I was a terrible parent then. But I also try and give us and myself some forgiveness, knowing that I used to ride in the footwell in the back of a car with no seatbelt when my parents chain smoking with the windows up. Like, okay, I mean, we live and we learn, right? But the thing is, my parents stopped smoking. My parents, you know, ultimately had me in a seatbelt. We learn and we adapt. This book is that inflection point where we've learned and we need to socially adapt. This is not a Cheshire Public Schools problem. This is frankly, it's not even an American problem. It's bigger than that. Sung-woo and Young-eun joined me for one of the book clubs. And I gotta be honest, I was a little surprised for them to say, well, this happens in South Korea too. Anywhere where kids have that sort of free access to social media, this is a problem. And so, you know, as a human species, we need to adapt, but we don't necessarily worry about that. We can control what's here, and we need to start to think about that. The other point that he made as it relates to giving kids challenges and appropriate challenges. I mean, if you've been in education long enough, I know you've gone from like helicopter parent to umbilical cord parent. And that's kind of what he's talking about, although he doesn't use those words. And what he says is that the trees that are big and strong have experienced adversity. If you grew a tree in a greenhouse with no adversity, it would grow big and tall and fall over. And so our kids need to experience adversity in a healthy and supportive, constructive way. And we need to educate our community about this. The book, for me, was the beginning of that process. And we've had hundreds of people read the book in the community, and like I said, it's transformative. Who I know, like you can't talk to people about the book and not do it with passion and conviction. And so I know that that's happening in our community, which is really positive. But we need to do more. Open houses, we certainly need to target parents of younger children at least. I'm not writing off 12th graders, but they're developmentally in a different place and need different sort of, they need a sort of different approach. So, what does this mean? I want one more on safetyism. It's really all about doing those things that are a little scary the first time. And socially, we've really limited those scary experiences for kids to the greatest extent possible. You remember learning how to ride a bike. Nobody wants to fall off a bike, right? Unless like Vin's a sicko, but other people don't want to fall off a bike, So you have to fight through that. And the sense of accomplishment you get, the thrill, the knowledge, the self-efficacy that I can do hard things is so powerful. So powerful. And I'm saying this to a room full of people who see it every day. When a child in your room does something that maybe they didn't think they could do, and that's why a lot of you are here today. That sensation that you receive to see a kid cross that hurdle, whatever it may be, for the first time. That's thrilling, it's exhilarating as a professional. We rob our kids of that an awful lot. And a lot of that doesn't necessarily happen in the classroom, it happens outside of the classroom, but it's something that, we need to be cognizant of. And it's okay to challenge kids, and that's, part of the value in building thinking classrooms. So, sorry, I realized that slide didn't move, and I want to just talk about fear is reduced as child experiences. We need to support kids in mastering age-appropriate challenges. One of the parents in our book club said it sounds simple, but her young daughter wanted to cut a lemon. And her initial response was, "Oh my God, get away from the knife." And, it wasn't a chainsaw, it was a knife and a lemon, and she kind of, okay, this is how you do it, I'll show you how to do it, now you can do it. And the feeling that both of them had after that. It's cutting a lemon. The feeling that both of them had was powerful. That you just helped your child build that little bit of self-efficacy that's going to be so valuable to them for the rest of their life. Is rewarding as a parent, but for that child to build that efficacy and know that I'm capable of hard things. This is okay. I can do it. So, what does it mean for us in terms of, cell phone policies, things like that? I mean, as I've read through the book, and things have evolved and access has changed, I really kind of see cell phones a lot like cigarettes. I wouldn't give a 7th grader a smoke break, right? If we know that the social media is that debilitating, then, we can't have it. And so, I'm the superintendent of schools, not the czar of Cheshire. So, this is a process moving in this direction that requires stakeholder feedback and engagement. I have a book club meeting this fall with high school students. It's one thing to make a rule, but if you know that everybody subject to the rule is going to do everything within their power to not follow it, we need to take a look at how do we beat that. We have a speed limit in Connecticut. I haven't seen many people drive it. It starts with education. It starts with not giving Sparky and Cletus a phone with social media on it in 5th grade. And so one of the points of the book the author brings up is this wait until 8 for a cell phone. I don't know, maybe it's because my brother's a German teacher. I want 9 until 9, but it doesn't seem to be catching on. But that would be my preference, that we're not giving kids phone, wait for them to be promoted from middle school. But we will definitely be moving this forward in terms of a board policy and what we do as a school, but we're going to be really restrictive on cell phones K to 8, and it's different when you're a sophomore, but not dramatically. And so there's a lot of work that needs to be done to protect our kids, protect their mental health. It's designed to be addictive. Literally. One of the parents participating in the book club was a researcher for a large social media platform. She left. She knew it was designed to be addicting to kids. The more the merrier. Revenue. It's addicting for us too, by the way, except most of you, at least probably better than me, are a little more mature and have the ability to go, whoa, dude, I've been doing this for an hour. I gotta check out. Or I gotta delete this app from my phone. It's just like eating my time. When you're 12, you don't have that sort of insight. And so we need to do something about it. And the board, many of the board members have read the book. They're certainly supportive, which is good. Captain Obvious. Anyway, the other item that we don't lose sight of is complex thinking, obviously. And we talked today about the recipe for high quality instruction, or at least that's what the metaphor was with the guy's grocery games. We all have a cookbook, right? Every grade level has learning standards. We all have the menu. We spent last spring learning how to zhuzh up our lessons by making learning visible. As we've discussed before, we're so successful because we're focused on improving our instructional practices all the time. We're always trying to get better. Aaron Judge takes batting practice every day. Taylor Swift goes to the studio and works on things. Even Byron tries new recipes. One of the challenges in the American education system, though, is the amount of performance time we have relative to practice time. Right? I'm sure we've all heard that, like, I don't know, one of the Nordic countries, like Finland, they teach for 7 minutes a day and have 7 hours of collaborative time or something. I don't know the exact stat, but that's the point. As such, I know that we've worked to increase the amount of time that we've provided to focus on practice through various means, from faculty meetings, PLCs, grade and department meetings, even collaboration time. And I'm excited because the new teacher evaluation system, the work that we've created collectively, thankfully drops a lot of the bureaucracy in that process and allows you to focus on practice. How am I improving what I do? Which is really powerful. I know Marlene will do this, but I also want to take the opportunity to thank our teachers and administrators who helped craft the new plan. I really appreciate the time and energy you put into it. You'll see how diverse and inclusive that group was. I really appreciate it. We've submitted the plan to the state. As you may have heard, we don't always have success there. But hopefully they see the wisdom in what we're doing, and we can move forward. With building thinking classrooms, I think we learned last year that making thinking visible is much more than just having a whiteboard with groups at it in your room. I mean, that's one thing. As I think about how compelling social media is, and some of the things that I saw evolve through last year are competitive with social media. It's really amazing to see kids walk into a room solving an authentic, meaningful problem collaboratively, where they're all intellectually engaged and challenged. That's like social media worthy. It drives up the engagement in the process. It doesn't have to be at a whiteboard, but that's certainly one way to make it visible for each other, which is valuable, but also for the teacher. And the knowledge that the teacher gains from seeing if their kids are getting it or not is where some of the value is, and allows us to adapt and move on the fly. So in closing, we the Cheshire Public Schools, we are at the intersection of complex thinking and social emotional learning. Since shifting our focus here, we've had unprecedented success. Our district performance rating, which measures more than 20 variables, all grade levels, was 23rd in Connecticut when we started this. It's 9th now. Congratulations. That success is because of the dedication and talent that exists in this room. What you guys bring to the table every day changes lives. Because I know what you do. And I know what it means to kids. I walked out of Cheshire High School the other day, and there's a young man with a backpack on standing out here. And I said, "Hey, can I help you, bud? You all set?" No puedo hablar inglés. Okay. This is a young man who's 15 years old and doesn't speak English. So in my broken Spanish, we had a conversation until he was like, "Hey dummy, I got an app on my phone that translates for us," kind of thing. Oh, okay, I guess we could do that too. But, I talked to Amy, one of our ESL teachers, who says, talk to him at the end of the year. That's one example of millions of examples throughout the course of the year. I showed a video last year of a Darcy student talking about how to take a breath. What you provide for our kids is incredible. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm sure if Guy were here, he'd say the same thing. I'm channeling him. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do for our kids. You continue to amaze. I hope you have an amazing 24-25 school year. Thank you very much, guys.